yet because we haven't gotten this all set up. It took me a little bit longer to get my poor little body out here in time. Let me just see what I got here. Whoa, I gotta watch myself because I'm working without a cane. All right, let me shuffle a little bit over this way, a little bit more.
Careful.
There we go. Okay, there's that. Give me a minute because we haven't got the dashboard up yet, so I'm gonna pop over here for just a second and get this thing set up. I will be right back. I just want to let you know that we're here and we're happening. I'm just running late. I hate pain meds. Hate them. All right, here we go. This is me. This is me coming over here. Let's see. Come on. Okay. Almost there, I promise. I have a very slow computer. It's as old as I am, if not older, and I'm pretty darned old. So, this is me. This is me waiting for my computer to kick up. Almost there. Almost there. Taking too long. Ha! Good. Should be able to kick this up soon. Here we go. Ta-ra!
Would you like
Here I am.
a little liquid courage?
Liquid courage? Maybe. Has it got more painkillers in it? A drunken fiddler's an ugly thing. Oh, hold on.
If you want to call vodka a painkiller. Or paint thinner. It
Yeah,
sounds
or
okay
paint
to me.
thinner. Don't do that at home, kids. All right. My guitar's too far away. Hold on. I'll get it. I can get this. I can do these things. I'm becoming very independent.
Oh, you look great. Move your. Oh, never mind. Leave it.
Okay. There. So, thank you guys for coming. Sorry, it's a little crazy this time. Like I said, it was such a beautiful weather, and I was like, I'm tired of performing on my get over it bed, and figured you guys were pretty bored watching all of my, silly things, pillows and stuff like that. You might want to kill the sound on it.
I did.
Good, thank you. And so yeah, we're outside. Yay! 6 feet away from everybody. So yeah, I'm being good. I'm 6 feet away from everybody. So I'm gonna do a short show because I'm still on pain meds. And I tell you, people, there's a big opioid problem in this country, and I understand why. These things, they are mean. They are really mean. They suck all the desire and inspiration out of you. I swear, at least on me. Yeah, they stop the pain. Everything feels great, but you don't care. You don't want to do anything. You want to lay on your butt and eat bonbons. So yeah, I'm not excited. I am not pleased with these pain meds, but I can't stand when they go off. I'm basically 4 hours in between each dose, and about 3.5 hours into it, it starts reminding me that I'm not ready to go without pain meds yet. I'm working on it. I'm down to one, and it's every 4 hours, and it's a low dose. Hopefully I'll be off of it soon and I'll have my voice back, because that's the biggest problem. This thing robs me of my voice and I can't stand it. So anyway, enough bitching and hollering. Oh, I said that on camera, didn't I? Oh well, it's my Twitch page. I can say what I want. And for a reminder, for all of you guys that are tuning in, if you type in on the Twitch here, !tip pot, it'll give you the address of my PayPal link so that you can send me money, because that's why we're having to do this now, because all my gigs have been canceled. I was just booted out of one big gig that was going to be a third of my yearly income. So there you go. And so I'm making up for it now. I'm making up for it here. And pass this around, share it with everybody. The theme today, I decided, was transformation, because that's what we're going through. Everybody's going through one right now. We're all having to do stuff we've never had to do before. And we're all trying to cope. And the thing is, it's a really hard thing. I know, I've done transformation a couple times. And, you know, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to transform yourself into something else that you weren't before. But you will find that when you get on the other side of it, once you're rats and fratzing and you're done with it, the thing that stands in front of you in the mirror is so much stronger and better than it was before. It is worth it. And I think that when we all get through this, there's going to be a whole bunch of things that we find, that we've learned, that make the world worth it again. I mean, already we're seeing the results of what happens when you stop driving so much, you know, when you stop taking the boats out, when you stop flying the airplanes. All of a sudden, the skies are bluer and the water's clearer and the fish are happier. And we see wild animals coming down the streets that nobody even saw before. We thought they weren't around anymore. And we're finding endangered species in some of the third world countries walking down the main roads of the villages now because there's nobody to stop them. So there's all this kind of stuff going on. And I think when we get on the other side of this, hopefully we'll remember what's happening right now, the things that we're learning, the things that we're seeing. And hopefully we'll make this world a better place, stronger and better, and love it much deeper and much healthier than we've been doing before. So that's kind of the idea. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing stuff. Could you maybe send a text up to Cade and just tell him to shut the window? All right, so here we go. And transformation. This is probably one of my first transformational songs because, well, it was during one of the bigger transformations that I've gone through. So kind of a Devil Goes Down to Limerick or something like that. By winter's light on solstice night I watched the wild hunt go. With silver bells and savage yells my frozen heart laid low. I watched them ride to the mortal side, but I never tried to leave. I'd been self-banned of fairyland, forever there to grieve. The hunting horn and the sun reborn called them from human ground. The fairy queen caused quite a scene with the artifacts she'd found. A little wooden fiddle that she stole from mortal man. She played with glee so perfectly as only fairies can. Then suddenly Her Majesty gazed at me cold and hard. I'd like to know where you would go, my humble, hapless bard. The world out there is cruel to bear, but if you needs be free, prove that you can, my mortal man, play better than the she. Her challenge played, all bets were laid. She beckoned unto me. I took the little fiddle and I held it tenderly, remembering the painful thing from which I'd run away. I made a choice with this new voice to face it here today. My heart's refrain had cured my pain, and the queen said unto me, your inaffair has held you here. Now, my lad, you're free. This fiddling pride I'll lay aside, it's brought me little joy. I lost one world to a red-haired girl, and now to you, my boy. Be it carved from out the finest wood, strung with silver string, only mortal trust of fairy dust can make a fiddle sing. It's carved from out the finest wood, strung with silver string, but only mortal trust of fairy dust can make my fiddle sing. So there you go. That was one of the first ones I ever wrote for my interesting transformation, which after this many years I tend to just talk about openly. We are very blessed. We've gotten into a world now where people are more educated and less frightened. And there again, that's really what it's about. That's what I found, is most of the time when people are naughty and acting badly, it's because they're scared about something. So being scared is only because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing and what you're looking at. So figure those things out. Don't have to be scared anymore. Don't have to bad behavior. See how that works? Yeah. So this next one is, I don't do this one too often. It hits a little close to home sometimes if I'm not careful. But in the beginning, I was writing new songs, and after my transformation, and I realized there was lots of things that I was missing. Because I mean, when you've gone for almost 40 years, I guess, being something that you thought people wanted, but it really wasn't you. But you put a lot of work into it. You put a lot of investment into it, and you breathed it into life. And you became it, even though it really wasn't you. It was still you lived through it. And that's what I did. I had this persona that I lived through, and she did everything I asked her to. I'll tell you, it's one thing. When people said, they said, "Oh my God, I miss Heather Alexander. I really, I really liked her." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Can you imagine having a redhead that does everything you tell her?" That was the way it was with me. I had this redheaded singer songwriter that could, basically she'd do what I told her to do. And when when I did the transition and she disappeared, um, I lost a good portion of my identity. I had no idea who I was anymore. I mean, I knew, but I'd never really been out here. I'd been back there somewhere. And so I was writing lots of songs about, the experience of it. And this particular song I started to write, and it was going to be a love song to the woman that I was attracted to at the time, but it didn't fit her. The style of the song didn't fit her. And I thought, what's wrong? What's wrong? What am I doing? Because this is a love song. I know it's a love song. And then it dawned on me, I was singing it to the wrong girl. And so that's where this song comes from. It kind of, during this time, Pullman, The Golden Compass, his Dark Materials came out. And the idea of dust came out, and the daemons, the little animals that follow the children around, and they're connected with this gold dust. And if you notice, very rarely, is the animal the same sex as the child. It's usually the opposite. It's kind of like, it's a balance thing, I guess. I don't know. But I thought that was fascinating, and I thought, Heather is essentially my Damon. And so we're never really too far apart anymore. But I realized that's what this song was. This was a song for her. So. Once again I hear a song sung especially for me. She whispers it soft in my ear, like a call from the sea. That voice cuts through any dark storm, as do bells when they chime. The tune wraps around me so warm and rocks to the rhythm of time. Soon a chorus of 3 words will form. She is mine. Hand in hand we walk down the roads of future and past. Present flies on the wings of a hawk, and our bond forever will last. At times tears between us will fall, or a smile quick to shine. A gold dust envelops it all, around us to gently entwine. These things give me strength to stand tall. She is mine. She is the softness inside my own heart. She is the faith from which I cannot part. She is the light in my life when it's dark and I can't find my way. Magic fills my day, secrets from dusk until dawn. She helps keep my troubles at bay. All the shadows are gone. I look in the mirror each night and trace each crease and line. Her eyes gaze back at me so bright, saying it all will be fine. If we're bonded, our life will go right. She is mine. She will be mine till the end of our days. We can combine 2 sparks into one blaze. Both will align then to balance and raise up our life as a sign. She is mine. She is mine. she is mine. So there you go. Could I have a little bit of that liquid courage, if you've got any left? My voice is terrible. Scratchy. I should be doing goblin songs today. Got one of those goblin voices. Oh well. All right, this was a request, actually. But I was going to do it anyway. It was good timing. This is another transformational song. Sometimes, love can be a very powerful thing. It can inspire someone to change and become what they always were, but better, stronger, more true. I was born in the ocean, in her strong arms to sleep. My soft silky coat I was happy to keep, till I saw you go walking on a wild distant shore. I thought I would watch you a few moments more. You sat on a rock and you gazed out to sea. Ever so often your sights fell on me. Then you'd laugh and you'd smile and my heart gave to rise. I found myself staring deep into your eyes. Let me shed off my coat and come walk by your side. We will lie down together, I will be yours forever, till the next bright round moon with her first rising tide. You stood up to leave, so I swam to the shore. I rose to my feet, a great Selkie no more, just a pale naked man who could not speak a word. But you still knew my heart when it spoke, and you heard. We laughed and we touched, while each night the moon grew. My watery secret still hidden from you, that one evening at dusk I was not to be found. For the ocean had called, and to her I was bound. Let me shed off my coat and come walk by your side. We will lie down together, I will be yours forever, till the next bright round moon with its first rising tide. I heard you call out from that wild distant shore. My heart started aching, my spirit grew sore. I longed for the days that beside you I lay. But to give up the sea, I was still too afraid. I could not stand the pain. My ocean I'd lose, but your love I would gain. So I came up to meet you on that wild distant shore. Selkie-eyed then, but a Selkie no more. Let me give you my coat and my heart deep inside. We will lie down together, I will be yours forever, past the next bright round moon with the first rising tide. We will lie down together, I will be yours forever, till the next bright round moon with the first rising tide. Alrighty. I think I got a voice for 2 more songs. I hate to do such short stuff for you, but that's why I do one a week, to make up for it. So, but yeah, this, as you can tell, opioids are not kind of voice. But we'll get through this. We'll get through this with all you guys helping me out. Thank you. I see all the little tips showing up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna need them. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But hopefully you guys are out there taking care of yourselves too. I mean, that's one of the things. And if you guys, you know, if you're watching this and you can't put money into the tip pot today, don't worry about it, because that's part of what this is about too. It's not just about me. It's about, you know, giving you guys something to think about, cheer up, look at the world a little differently. Something, anything to get through this, because we're getting to that place. You know, we're getting to that real place where it's challenging. And I mean, you know, the 4 weeks of, you know, excitement and, you know, new stuff is over. Now we're getting bored, and people are starting to get cranky and naughty, not thinking what they're doing. So be patient, gentle, and remember that. Remember that when somebody's being naughty and they're acting up, it's not about you. Chances are they're probably scared, and that's their default. Their default is to act like a complete goober and say mean things to scare people and make them, you know, leave them alone so they don't get hurt. That's how people are thinking. They don't want to get hurt. So they say mean things to keep you at bay. Just kind of remember that when you're out there, because that's what's going on. So this song here, it's a new one. I did it a little while ago. I did it actually on my second Twitch that I started doing. But I'm going to do it again because it's a new song, and the more I do it, the better it gets. So this has a story behind it, though. Speaking of transformation, this is a story that is written, and I will get back, by the way. Last year, I put out a call to you guys, and I was in some trouble. I had to get my music back from my ex, and I had to buy her out. And she wanted it that day, in the courthouse, right then, that moment, and obviously I didn't have it. And I put out a call on Facebook, and I was able to negotiate for 10 days to get that money to her. And in 3 days, you guys did it. And I will never forget that. I will always remember how fast you guys came to my need and my aid. And one of the things I promised when I put the word out there was anybody helping me out, if they gave me a certain amount of money, I'd write a song that, you know, as they requested, for whatever they wanted me to write about. And I got this one song request for this fantastically brave woman. Like me, she's a little magical, and decided that in spite of what the doctors told her, in spite of the fact that she had a very fatal disease that was going to take her within perhaps a year, she knew who she was, and she was going to go through whatever proceeds that she could go through to become the woman that she was. And so I was asked to do a song for her. And we do lots of things to, you know, embolden ourselves and empower ourselves. And she saw herself as a purple dragon. And when I was told that, I knew exactly what song to write for her, because she was in a place where she was about to create herself into her true form and probably perish right in the process of it. But that kind of bravery, to know that even for that split second you are who you are, and you finally achieve it. Makes it all worth it. And so this is her song. It's called Finally Be Me. I rock back and forth in this fiery hell, trying to break from this limited shell. An effort that may end up broken as well, but at least I will get to be me. I struggle to change all the scales on my hide, take blue mixed with pink to make purple reside. They told me it couldn't be done, but they lied, and I'm going to break myself free. No bird made of feathers, but a dragon with scale, sharp horns, leathered wings, and a long supple tail. This egg that I'm in will be burned once I'm free. I will burn with it too, but at least I will finally be me. You struggle with pity and comfort for me. I am in charge of my own destiny. How many of you can claim you have the key to make of your life all that you can? My glory is short, but my legacy's long. For this transformation will never be wrong. My story of strength will be made into song, and then be shared with the children of man. I am flying in flame. I am beating the game. I will not be the same, but I will make you all come to see. We can all find our ways to be free. I will be what I truly can be. I may pass from this realm, but I know I will finally be me. No bird made of feathers, but a dragon with scale, sharp horns, leathered wings, and a long supple tail. This egg that I'm in will be burned once I'm free. I will burn with it too, but at least I will finally be me. I will burn with it too, but at least I will finally be me. A little more liquid courage, just a little.
A little more liquid courage.
And this will be my last song, because I can certainly tell my voice is not gonna be, especially after this next one.
Drink it. Drink.
Nah.
Oh, Neil.
I'll have one afterwards.
Okay.
I have to do all my tricks first, then I can have a treat. That's how that works. So, this is another of my favorite stories, fairy tales. When I get, I promise, this year I'm working on it hard. I'm working on trying to get that fairy tale album done. I had a lot of excitement last year. It was supposed to be done last year, but last year was, well, unpredictable. Much like this last month or two, it's been kind of unpredictable. So, but you know, fear not, I will persevere. And hopefully I'll get the fairy tale album out this year. And this is going to be on it. Some of you may have heard this done at some of my concerts. I have not recorded this anywhere except maybe on my Patreon. Patreon! That's a good thing to remember too. For those of you that aren't on it, you can get on it for $1. $1. One. That's $12 a year. But the thing is that, like I keep telling people, it's not about how much you're putting in. It's about how many of you are putting it in there. And I know there's a lot of folk out there. I watch my Facebook page. I know how many likes I get on my Facebook page. And if I could have $1 from a third of my fan base on Facebook, I would not have to worry about my bills every month. And I wouldn't have to worry about the money that I might be having to spend to get all the stuff I need to get myself walking again and stuff like that. So anyway, think about it. Think about it. You can always get off of it. I don't write you nasty letters. I don't come after you saying, why didn't you be on my Patreon? Yeah. No, Believe me, I know the world. I know how it works. I know that sometimes that dollar is very precious. So I'm okay with it. It's all good. It really is. It's all good. So anyway, yeah, and if you do that once a month, I usually put out something. Usually it's a song, but sometimes it's a video, and sometimes it's a bunch of silly puppets playing. This last time. Sometimes it's my socks. Yeah. But you know, the socks got a lot of excitement. I think the socks may appear again. I think Alexander's socks might just show up on their own show someday. We'll see. So anyway, this story, this song is based off of a story from the Jim Henson series, the Storyteller series. It's actually the first story he tells in the series, and it's called Hans the Hedgehog is the story. And the story of the Grovel Hog is he's an enchanted creature, and he's ugly, terrible, ugly thing during the day, but at night he turns into a man. And by making deals and saving kings, he ends up with a king's daughter to marry. And of course the girl is terrified in the beginning. This first night that she's married, she's like, "Oh my God, I married this horrible beast. What am I going to do? What's this going to be like?" And she starts to go to sleep, and she's terrified as she goes to sleep in bed that first night, waiting for her husband to come and meet her. And instead of meeting her in the bed, he goes over to the corner and picks up a set of pipes and plays. And she finds herself falling asleep. And she dreams this odd dream that her husband actually stops playing the pipes and comes over and touches her gently on the cheek, and then goes over to the fireplace and reaches behind him and takes off his huge coat of quills and leaves him on the chair. And then he goes out into the courtyard and spends the entire night talking and visiting with all the animals in the kingdom. Well, she wakes up the next morning, and there's the Grovel Hog over in the corner looking just as ugly and stinky and awful as usual. And she thinks, I must have dreamt it. And then the next night, same thing happens. She goes to sleep, or she starts to go to sleep, waiting for her husband to join her. He plays the pipes. But this time, she keeps one eye open. And sure enough, when the pipes stop to play, she feels this ever so gently touch upon her cheek. She opens one eye and looks, and she watches her husband walk away from her, go over to the fireplace, reach behind him, and take off his coat of quills. And there is a man. And the man puts the coat of quills down and goes out to the courtyard. She goes over to the edge and looks down, and there he is, talking and mixing with the animals. And she goes back over to the fire, and she picks up the coat of quills, thinking it's harsh and jagged and spiky. And it isn't. It's soft and still warm and comforting. And she holds it close to her and sits by the fire and falls asleep. And early before dawn, there's a rustle by the window that wakes her up, and she looks, and there's her husband standing there in the half light. And he says, "Madam, would you prefer the animal or the man?" And she said, "I have a husband, nothing more, nothing less. But whatever you are is what I have." And he says, "Well, if you would excuse me then, I must put my coat back on, for I'm enchanted, and that is the way it must be. But if you speak nothing of this for one more night, then true love will break this enchantment, and I will be, as you see here, the man before you." She's like, "I can do that." So she gets all excited, and he puts his coat back on, and of course turns back into the stinky, smelly, ugly little Grovel Hog. But this time, when she goes down to breakfast, she half dances down the stairs, and her mother looks at her oddly and says, "Daughter, anything interesting to tell us?" And she says, "Oh no, Mother, nothing." And she said, "Nothing about the creature?" She goes, "He's not a creature." She says, "Really?" And she says, "Well, I mean, he's very civil to me. He's very kind." And the mother begins to think. And mothers, knowing what they know when there's secrets that their children are keeping. And they find ways to get them out. And after fishing and poking at her daughter reveals that yes, indeed, she does understand that there is something magical about her husband. And the queen says, Whatever he has told you, my dear, it is wrong. We have been down the street to an old, wise woman, and she told us that the only way to stop this enchantment is to throw the coat into the fire. That is what you must do. And the princess says, that's not the way. And the mother says, ah, so he did tell you things. Well, the daughter was not sure what to think now. She'd said something. Who's to know what happens tonight? So the night comes. Sure enough, her husband, saying nothing, thinking nothing, goes and takes off his coat, leaves her, and goes out into the courtyard to mingle with the animals. And she goes over to the coat of quills, and she sits there and she holds it. And then she thinks what her mother said. You must throw it into the fire. And she thought to herself, my mother's never misled me before. Perhaps I'm mistaken. And since I did say something, maybe that won't work, and maybe this will. So maybe I should. And with that, she threw the coat into the fire. And the moment it hit the flame, a scream comes out from out in the courtyard. She runs to the window and looks down, and there is her husband, smoldering, with the coat fused onto him forever. She rushes down to offer her sorrow and sadness. He pushes her away. He wants nothing to do with her. He grabs a few of the courtyard animals and runs, never to be seen again. Well, the princess is very upset. And after thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, she finally decides she knows what she's going to do. She goes to the town blacksmith. He makes her a pair of iron shoes. And she slips them on and starts to walk the world looking for her husband. 3 pairs of iron shoes she wears out. And when the 3rd pair is almost completely worn to nothing, she ends up in this little hovel, the last place she would ever think to look. In the middle of a forest, a little tiny timbers cottage. And it's all full of bone and fur and bits and pieces of the forest. And there's a table set for one and an open window. She thinks, this must be it. This is the only place left on the world that I've not tried to look for him. So she hides in the shadow and she waits. And that night, the sun sets, and a raven flies in from the window and sets upon the table, flutters its wings, and turns into the grovel hawk, who then picks up a cup, and he says to the most beautiful woman who could not keep a secret but for one more night. Well, she comes out from the shadows, and she says, husband, I'm here. I have come. And he looks at her. He gets up and he steps away. What are you doing in my home? She says, I'm here to catch you up and snoodle you and hold you as I should have done long ago. And he snarls and tries to get away from her, and she runs up and she grabs him. She wraps her arms around him and holds him so tight. And in her arms, he turns into all manner of writhing, vicious, nasty beast with wings and tail and horns and teeth and claws. And he shreds her, and he rakes her, and he bites her, and he beats her, and she still holds on. And then finally, all the animals are gone, and just the man is in her arms. Remember what I said about people misbehaving when they're frightened? Think about that. When somebody's being naughty, chances are they may just need someone to listen to them, give them a hug, show them a little kindness, remind them this world is not as bad as they think. So, there you go. Could you not just wait one single night? Thought you knew beyond what's wrong and right. Did you even hear the words I'd say? If you did, then why'd you do it anyway? You thought me ugly once before. Well, now I'm that and so much more. A mean and vicious kind of sight. A beast by day and now much worse by night. Can you hold me now? Oh, I don't think you can. I'm the beast you made me out to be. Only love's embrace can change me to a man. I thought I made it crystal clear, yet you let reason interfere. And when I told you what I need, you let your fears about me intercede. Well, now I'd best be on my way. I'll leave before the break of day. The cock and crow shall be my guide. The horse and dog will follow at my side. Hungry as a wolf, strong as any bear, free as any eagle circling in the air, swift as any stag, fierce as any lion, lonely as the animal whose heart is slowly dying. Nature's child, rampant, crazed, and wild. Can you hold me now? Oh, I don't think you can. I'm the beast you made me out to be. Only love's embrace can change me to a man. So now you've come to my new home, amidst the waters, woods, and loam. I find you standing at my door, wearing a face I've seen just once before. Can't believe you're really here. I'll back away if you draw near. All nature's beasts with deadly harms will rise to meet you if I'm in your arms. Can you hold me now? Oh, I don't think you can. I'm the beast you made me out to be. Only love's embrace can change me. Can you hold me now? Oh, I don't think you can. I'm the beast you made me out to be. Only love's embrace can change me to a man. Change me. Change me. Change me. Can you hold me now?
Okay, we had a freeze. Hold on just a second. Hold on.
I've been
It
told.
froze.
I've been told it got frozen. I see other things happening. I see people clapping.
Okay, now it froze on my side.
It froze on your side, but not on the
Okay,
feed.
that's good.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Yay! I think we're just at a place where the clouds are kind of starting to cover the sun. I think our pretty day is at a closing. So I think I'll do the same. But
I want
thank
to
you.
say something.
Oh, Sansy's gonna come say something.
Hi. A lot of you sent out a lot of love to me. I was feeling, I'm still terrified. So, to help those of us that are essential workers, keep up the good work. Make sure you maintain your distance. Give your cashier a moment to clean that belt. We want to help you keep your home stocked and keep you happy and healthy. And man, you guys poured out a lot of love, and we appreciate it. Because this guy, for all of his bardness, didn't know what to do because I was, for once, falling apart. So.
Yeah, we all know that when the girl falls apart, the guy's absolutely no good at all. That's how that works. It's just the yin and yang of it all.
Keep up the good work, and if you see something that's not right, write that store. Get a hold of that store director.
Yeah.
Help those people. Help, the common people. The directors are the ones that make a lot of money, and they're the ones profiting. So let's take care of each other.
That's exactly
Peace
what
out.
we gotta do. Thank you guys. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for taking care of Sansi. You do a lot for us, and hopefully my music will help you guys take care of yourselves. be good, be safe, be smart, wash your hands. And I'll be seeing you probably next week. So I think.
Oh, no, Friday.
Friday. Yeah, Friday. Friday, this next Friday, the 17th, I have asked my dear hostess and savior as far as giving me a place and shelter. It's Betsy Tinney. Betsy Tinney lets me stay here. Otherwise, I would be like in the street somewhere in my little trailer somewhere else. But she lets me stay here and make music in her house and sleep in there and recover with bilateral knee surgery. So I asked her if she would like to come and play one of my Twitch concerts with me, and she's going to come next week. So there'll be two musicians here next week playing for you. So try not to miss it. And if you do miss it, don't worry, because it will be put back on, will be put up, it stays on Twitch for a while. You can watch it on Twitch for at least a week. And I also download it onto my YouTube channel. So it's always there. So that's where you can find me, on the YouTube channel, or you can find me on the Twitch, or you can find me on Facebook. And I will see you guys next week. Be safe, be smart, wash your hands, be good to each other. Remember that part, that's the most important. I'll talk to you some other time. Bye-bye.